"You're nothing without me, Grace," Ethan screamed as I fell from the penthouse balcony. The rain hit my face like bullets, mixing with tears I'd cried for the last time. 20 stories down, the pavement rushed toward me with mathematical certainty. My body struck concrete with a wet crack that echoed through the empty street below. The sirens wailed in the distance, but they were already too late. I opened my eyes, fluorescent light stabbed through my skull like ice picks. The familiar water stain on my studio apartment ceiling stared back at me, the same stain I'd memorized during 3 years of poverty. My hands shook as I sat up, bare feet hitting the cold linoleum floor. "This isn't possible," I whispered. The calendar on my nightstand read March 15th, 2021. I had died on March 15th, 2024. The rent notice taped to my door confirmed what my racing heart already knew. I was back. 3 years back, with every memory of betrayal and death intact. "This time, Ethan, you'll be the one begging in the rain." The memories flooded back like a broken dam. Finding Ethan in bed with Sophie, my maid of honor, the night before our wedding. Their naked bodies intertwined on sheets I'd bought for our honeymoon. Sophie's fake tears the next morning. "Grace, I'm so sorry you had to see that." "Sorry!" I'd screamed. "You're sorry?" But the real knife had come later, the tech startup I'd built from nothing. They'd stolen every line of code, every patent application, every investor contact. While I drowned in legal fees trying to prove ownership, they launched my creation and made $47 million in 6 months. Now I stared at my laptop screen, bank balance glowing in shameful red, $847.20. Rent overdue by 2 months. Credit maxed on groceries and legal fees that bought me nothing but humiliation. But I knew something they didn't. "Bitcoin hit 60,000 in 18 months, I said to my empty apartment. "Tesla stock triples. GameStop explodes in January." My phone rang. Daniel, my landlord. "Grace, sweetheart, I hate doing this to you, but I'll have your money by Friday," I interrupted. "Honey, you said that last month, and the month before. I've got bills too." I pulled up my banking app, fingers flying across the screen. Credit card cash advances, personal loans, everything I could liquidate. $50,000, every penny I could borrow against my future. "Daniel, give me 72 hours. Grace, 72 hours or I'll make you regret rushing me." The line went quiet. Daniel had never heard that tone from me before. I invested every dollar in cryptocurrency at 3:47 a.m., fingers trembling as I confirmed the transaction. In my previous life, I'd been too scared to risk anything, too careful, too trusting. Death teaches you that careful gets you killed. 2 weeks later, Daniel knocked again. His usual arrogant swagger had vanished. "Grace, about the rent." I opened the door wearing a silk robe I'd bought that morning. Not expensive, but expensive enough. My laptop displayed my crypto portfolio, $150,000 and climbing. "You were saying about the rent, Daniel?" His eyes widened at the screen. "Jesus Christ, Grace, how did you—" "Market timing," I said, closing the laptop with deliberate slowness. "It's all about knowing what's coming next." Daniel's face cycled through confusion, greed, and sudden respect. "Look, about the eviction notice." "Forgotten," I smiled. "But Daniel, I'll be buying this entire building by Christmas. Keep that in mind when you're deciding how to treat your tenants." His mouth fell open like a landed fish. I grabbed my new designer coat and walked past him into the hallway. "Lock up when you leave." The live stream played on my wall-mounted screen while I sipped champagne in my upgraded apartment. Ethan looked magnificent in his custom tuxedo, Sophie radiant in the dress she'd picked out while I was still planning my funeral in the previous timeline. "Ladies and gentlemen," Ethan announced to the glittering crowd, "Sophie and I are proud to unveil our revolutionary new application, Social Sync." The exact same app I'd designed. Every feature, every interface element, every line of code I'd stayed up nights perfecting. "This technology will transform how people connect in the digital age," Sophie added, her diamond engagement ring catching the camera lights. "We've already received inquiries from major investors." The comments section exploded. "Marcus Chen, groundbreaking innovation, call me tomorrow." "Tech Corp Ventures, this is the future, we want in." Digital dynasty, revolutionary concept, name your price. I laughed until my sides hurt. Marcus, you're about to invest in yesterday's news. I've already built tomorrow's empire. My crypto portfolio hit 50 million as I'd predicted the crash to the exact hour. While other investors panicked, I'd gone short on Tesla, long on gold, and tripled my position in quantum computing stocks that wouldn't announce their breakthrough for another 8 months. Victoria, I need you to register a company, I told my new lawyer over the phone. Certainly, Ms. Grace. What name would you like? Phoenix Industries. Anonymous ownership through offshore entities. Cayman Islands. Singapore, Switzerland. Make it impossible to trace. That's quite complex. May I ask why? Because phoenixes rise from ashes, Victoria, and some people need to burn. Within 24 hours, tech blogs buzzed with speculation. Tech Daily, mysterious Phoenix Industries acquires 3 startups overnight. Innovation Weekly, anonymous billionaire reshapes Silicon Valley. Digital disruption. Who is behind the Phoenix empire? Victoria handed me keys to a downtown penthouse worth $30 million. All yours, Ms. Grace. 40 floors up, helicopter pad included. I stood on the balcony, city lights spreading below like fallen stars. 3 years ago, I'd fallen from a height like this. Tonight, I owned the sky. Victoria, now we buy every company Ethan and Sophie will need, before they know they need them. Marcus Chen's exclusive tech summit buzzed with the energy of sharks sensing blood in the water. I adjusted my custom mask, Italian leather shaped like phoenix feathers, electronics embedded in the framework to disguise my voice. The audience held 500 of the industry's most powerful players. In my previous life, I'd watched this event on live stream from my studio apartment, eating ramen and dreaming of belonging. Tonight, I owned 3 companies represented in the sponsor list. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus announced from the stage, please welcome Ethan Morrison and Sophie Chen with their revolutionary social sync platform. They walked out hand in hand, confidence radiating from every step. Ethan wore the same lucky tie he'd worn to our first investor meeting, the one where he'd promised me we'd always be partners. Social sync represents the future of human connection, Ethan began, his voice carrying across the packed auditorium. We've created an ecosystem where authentic relationships can flourish in digital spaces. Sophie stepped forward. Our proprietary algorithm learns from user behavior to suggest meaningful connections, not just superficial matches. The audience murmured appreciation. Phones appeared as investors began calculating potential returns. I stood slowly in the back row. That concept is 3 years outdated. My electronically disguised voice cut through the auditorium like a blade. I've already patented the next generation. Every head turned. Cameras swiveled to capture my masked figure. Ethan's confident smile faltered. I'm sorry, who? Someone who understands that true innovation requires looking beyond stolen ideas. I stepped into the aisle, stage lights catching the phoenix design on my mask. Social sync is impressive for 2018 technology. Unfortunately, this is 2021. Marcus Chen leaned forward in his front row seat. And you are? Ladies and gentlemen, meet your new competition. Phoenix Industries just entered the game. Marcus Chen canceled Ethan's funding 36 hours later. I watched the call through security cameras I'd installed in his office building, one of the many properties Phoenix Industries had acquired that week. Ethan, I'm sorry, but there are serious patent conflicts with your application, Marcus said, his voice flat with finality. Patent conflicts? That's impossible. We developed every line of code ourselves. Phoenix Industries filed comprehensive patents on social connection algorithms 18 months ago. My legal team says your app infringes on at least 47 separate claims. Sophie grabbed the phone from Ethan's hand. Marcus, this is Sophie. You know us. We would never steal intellectual property. I know what I thought I knew, Marcus replied. But Phoenix Industries has documentation proving prior art on every major feature of social sync. Unless you can demonstrate independent development with time-stamped evidence. The line went dead. Sophie screamed at Ethan across their cramped office, the same WeWork space they'd rented with money meant for our wedding venue. Who is Phoenix Industries? They came out of nowhere. Someone's targeting us specifically, Ethan said, pacing like a caged animal. This isn't coincidence. Of course it's not coincidence. Sophie hurled her laptop bag against the wall. Someone knows our business plan better than we do. Through their window, they could see the gleaming Phoenix Industries tower I'd purchased and renovated in record time. 42 floors of glass and steel, with my name carved in obsidian letters across the entrance. Local news vans surrounded the building as reporters tried to identify the mysterious billionaire who'd transformed the city's skyline overnight. This is Patricia Williams reporting from downtown, where Phoenix Industries headquarters has become the symbol of a new tech revolution, the anchor announced. In just 6 months, this anonymous company has acquired over $300 million in assets, yet its true owner remains completely unknown. Sophie stared at the news footage, her face pale. Ethan, what if they're not just competing with us? What if they're trying to destroy us? Then we fight back, Ethan said, but his voice shook. The Global Tech Expo filled the convention center with 10,000 attendees and media from 6 continents. I stood behind the black curtain surrounding Phoenix Industries' booth, listening to the crowd's anticipation build. Ladies and gentlemen, the announcer's voice boomed across the hall. Please welcome the CEO of Phoenix Industries for the debut of revolutionary artificial intelligence technology. I stepped through the curtain wearing a different mask, this one crafted from black titanium with phoenix wings that moved with subtle servo motors. My dress was custom Valentino, midnight blue with embedded fiber optics that pulsed like a heartbeat. The crowd fell silent. Thank you for joining me today, I began, my voice now altered by military-grade audio processing. 6 months ago, Phoenix Industries didn't exist. Today, we're going to show you why the future belongs to those who rise from ashes. I gestured to the massive screens behind me. My AI assistant materialized as a holographic phoenix, its wings spreading 30 feet across the stage. Meet Lazarus, the world's first quantum-enhanced artificial intelligence. The audience gasped as Lazarus spoke directly to individuals in the crowd, analyzing their LinkedIn profiles, predicting their questions, solving complex problems in real time. Within minutes, it had optimized 3 different companies' supply chains, redesigned a pharmaceutical formula, and composed a symphony that made several investors weep. Now let's compare Lazarus with existing technology, I announced. On the split screen, Social Sync's interface appeared, clunky, slow, barely functional compared to Lazarus's fluid intelligence. This is what passes for innovation in today's market, I said, letting contempt drip through my disguised voice. Lazarus, please show us what real advancement looks like. In 30 seconds, Lazarus rebuilt Social Sync's entire functionality, then added features that wouldn't be possible for another decade. The crowd erupted in applause. Tech journalists swarmed to the booth as my demonstration ended. Pre-orders flooded in so fast our servers crashed. $100 million in the first hour, Victoria whispered in my earpiece. The demand is unprecedented. A reporter pushed through the crowd, microphone extended. Can you tell us who you really are? Why the mask and secrecy? I looked directly into the camera, knowing Ethan and Sophie would be watching from their failing office. Let's just say I'm someone with unfinished business. Sophie hired private investigator Lucas Brennan the next morning. I watched their meeting through the coffee shop's security cameras, another business I'd quietly acquired. I need to know everything about Phoenix Industries, Sophie said, sliding a check across the table. Every employee, every financial record, every connection to our industry. Lucas studied the check. $5,000? Ma'am, corporate intelligence investigations typically run. $20,000 if you find out who's behind the company, Sophie interrupted. $50,000 if you can prove they're targeting us illegally. Now we're talking. Lucas pocketed the check. Give me 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, Lucas returned looking haggard. I've never seen anything like this, he admitted, spreading documents across the table. Every lead disappears into shell companies and offshore accounts. Phoenix Industries has legal entities in 12 countries, all perfectly structured to hide beneficial ownership. But you found something, right? Sophie's voice cracked with desperation. I found a pattern. Phoenix has been buying companies for months, always exactly the businesses you and Ethan would need for expansion. Cloud Sync, DataBridge, SecureNet, Every acquisition happened before you even knew you'd need their services. Ethan leaned forward. That's impossible. We haven't told anyone our expansion plans. That's what makes this so disturbing, Lucas said. Whoever this is, they knew your business plan before you finished writing it. Sophie grabbed Ethan's arm, her nails digging into his skin. What if they knew because they created our business plan? The CloudSync acquisition completed at 3:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. I signed the papers remotely from my penthouse, watching the city sleep 30 floors below. Victoria, execute the service termination for Morrison Chen Enterprises immediately. Are you certain? Their user base will crash within 48 hours. That's the point. Phoenix rises, others fall. Ethan's phone rang at 6:23 a.m. I listened to every word through the back door I'd installed in CloudSync systems months earlier. Mr. Morrison, this is David Kumar from CloudSync. I'm calling to inform you that your service contract has been terminated, effective immediately. Terminated? That's impossible. We have a 2-year agreement. Sir, Phoenix Industries acquired CloudSync yesterday. Our new ownership has decided to restructure our client relationships. You can't do this. Our entire user base depends on your servers. I'm very sorry, Mr. Morrison. Phoenix Industries was quite specific about your account. Ethan called back 17 times. Each call went to voicemail. By Thursday, SocialSync had crashed completely. Their 40,000 users couldn't log in, couldn't access their data, couldn't connect with friends or family. The App Store reviews turned vicious overnight. Worst app ever. Doesn't work at all. Total scam. Lost all my photos and messages. Morrison Chen should be shut down. Sophie found Ethan sitting in their empty office at midnight, staring at his laptop screen as their user count dropped towards 0. The CEO laughed when I begged him to restore our service, Ethan said without looking up. He said Phoenix Industries told him I'd call. They're toying with us, Sophie whispered, like cats with mice. I watched Ethan's app crash in real time from my command center. Dozens of monitors displaying every metric as their digital empire collapsed. Phase 2 begins now. Victoria entered my office the next morning with a concerned expression. Grace, I need to ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. I looked up from the acquisition reports scattered across my desk. What's on your mind? This campaign against Morrison and Chen. Are you sure this is justice and not revenge? Is there a difference when someone steals your life's work? Victoria sat across from me, her lawyer's instincts clearly troubled. What they did to you was horrible. The theft, the betrayal, the way they destroyed your business while you watched. But what we're doing to them is proportional, I finished. They stole my company, my ideas, my future. Now they're learning what that feels like. But the scope of this operation, the resources you're committing, it goes far beyond recovering what they took. I opened my laptop and showed her the evidence I'd compiled. Screenshots of their stolen code, time-stamped emails proving the theft, financial records showing exactly how much they'd profited from my work. $47 million, Victoria. That's what they made from my stolen ideas while I couldn't afford groceries. Victoria studied the documents, her expression growing grim. My God, this is worse than I realized. They didn't just steal money. They stole my identity as an innovator, my reputation in the industry, my ability to ever launch another startup. When investors Google my name, they find nothing but legal disputes and failure. And now you're erasing their identities instead. I nodded toward the wall of monitors showing Phoenix Industries' expanding empire. I'm building something they could never imagine while dismantling everything they built on my foundation. Victoria's expression shifted from a concern to something approaching admiration. How many more companies are you planning to acquire? Every business they'll need to survive the next 5 years. I handed her a list of 12 potential targets. Victoria, ready the acquisition teams. It's time to make this hurt where it counts. Their reputation. Then let's make it hurt where it counts. Their reputation. Tech Weekly's expose hit the internet at 6 a.m. on a Friday, when maximum readership would see it throughout the weekend. The Rise and Fall of Morrison Chen, an investigation into stolen innovation. By Jennifer Martinez, senior technology correspondent. 6 months ago, Ethan Morrison and Sophie Chen were the golden couple of Silicon Valley, riding high on their revolutionary social sync application. Today, their empire lies in ruins, and our investigation reveals why. Sources within the tech industry have provided evidence suggesting Morrison Chen's flagship product may have been built on stolen intellectual property. They presented ideas that were eerily similar to concepts I'd seen elsewhere, says one former investor who spoke on condition of anonymity. The article included screenshots of their empty offices, photos of their crashed app interface, and quotes from 12 different industry insiders calling them ideas thieves and startup scammers. The pattern is clear, notes Dr. Sarah Kim, a Stanford business professor who studies corporate ethics. When a company's meteoric rise is followed by total collapse, it usually indicates fundamental problems with their foundation. But the final paragraph was my masterpiece. Phoenix Industries, the mysterious tech giant that has revolutionized multiple sectors this year, declined to comment on the Morrison Chen situation. However, a spokesperson did provide this statement. Innovation requires integrity. Those who build on stolen foundations will always face the consequences. This is just the beginning of justice. Within hours, the article had been shared 10,000 times. Morrison Chen's LinkedIn pages were flooded with angry comments. Their few remaining business contacts began distancing themselves publicly. I watched the article spread through the industry like wildfire, each share and comment driving the knife deeper into their professional reputations. The article ended ominously. Phoenix Industries promises this is just the beginning of justice. Sophie screamed accusations at Ethan across their nearly empty office, her voice echoing off bare walls where motivational posters had once hung. This is your fault. Your enemies are destroying us. My enemies? Sophie, we built this company together. Ethan slammed his laptop closed. If anyone's being targeted, it's both of us. No, this feels personal. Phoenix Industries isn't just competing. They're systematically erasing everything we've built. Sophie pointed at the news coverage playing on their single remaining monitor. Look at that article. They quoted 12 people who hate us. Their engagement party venue had canceled that morning, citing reputational concerns about hosting them. The country club membership they'd celebrated just months ago? Revoked. The exclusive investors' dinner they'd been invited to? Uninvited. Ethan's phone buzzed with another bank notification. Our joint accounts are frozen. Creditor investigations. Creditor investigations. We paid our bills. Apparently, Phoenix Industries filed complaints about unpaid licensing fees. 47 separate patent violations. Sophie stared at him, her face cycling through disbelief, rage, and terror. Patent violations for technology we developed ourselves? They claim prior art going back 18 months, before we even started coding. Through their window, Phoenix Industries Tower dominated the skyline like a black monolith. As they watched, a helicopter with phoenix wings painted on its hull landed on the building's roof. Sophie grabbed her engagement ring, the 2-carat diamond Ethan had bought with their first investor payment, and hurled it at his face. Find out who Phoenix Industries really is or lose me forever. The ring bounced off his cheek and rolled under their desk as Sophie stormed toward the exit. Sophie, wait, just don't. Fix this, Ethan, or we're finished. The door slammed behind her, leaving Ethan alone with the sound of his crumbling empire. I had Victoria leak the fake documents at 2 a.m., when corporate security would be lightest. The fabricated emails suggested Phoenix Industries' anonymous CEO was Marcus Chen's biggest rival, tech mogul Amanda Walsh from Seattle. Make sure the digital fingerprints point to Walsh Industries, I instructed. Timestamps, IP addresses, even coffee shop Wi-Fi logs from her usual Seattle locations. This is quite elaborate, Grace. Are you certain about implicating an innocent party? Walsh is wealthy enough to survive some temporary suspicion. Marcus and Ethan's conflict will be far more damaging to them than to her. By Thursday morning, Ethan had connected enough dots to convince himself he'd solved the mystery. He confronted Marcus at Hillcrest Country Club during the lunch rush, when maximum witnesses would observe their confrontation. I know what you're doing, Marcus. Ethan's voice carried across the dining room as he approached Marcus's table. Marcus looked up from his salmon, confusion genuine on his face. Ethan, what are you talking about? Phoenix Industries, you're behind the whole thing. The dining room fell silent. 12 of the tech industry's most powerful executives stopped mid-conversation to watch the drama unfold. Phoenix Industries? Marcus set down his fork. What does that have to do with me? Amanda Walsh is your biggest competitor. You're using Phoenix as a front to destroy her rivals before she can expand into California markets. Ethan, you sound paranoid. Paranoid? Ethan's voice rose another octave. My company is being systematically destroyed by an organization that knows my business plan better than I do. Someone is feeding them inside information. Marcus stood slowly, his own voice carrying dangerous undertones. Are you accusing me of corporate espionage? I'm accusing you of using Phoenix Industries to eliminate Walsh's potential partners before she makes her move. The dining room's attention focused on their exchange like vultures circling carrion. Phone cameras appeared as other diners began recording. Security, Marcus called to the club staff. Please escort Mr. Morrison from the premises. You can't silence me, Marcus. Everyone here knows what you're capable of. 2 security guards approached Ethan from behind. Ethan Morrison, Marcus announced to the room, his voice carrying the authority of old money and older power. You are permanently banned from Hillcrest Country Club. Your paranoid accusations and unprofessional behavior make you unsuitable for membership in any respectable organization. This isn't over. Yes, Marcus replied as security dragged Ethan toward the exit. It very much is. Marcus's final words echoed across the club dining room. You've made enemies of everyone who matters. TechCorp Media's acquisition completed on a quiet Sunday morning. I signed the papers in my penthouse, city spread below like a game board where I moved all the pieces. Congratulations, Ms. Grace, Victoria said, reviewing the contracts. You now own the industry's most influential publication and blog network. Excellent. Begin content restructuring immediately. Within hours, every negative article about Phoenix Industries vanished from TechCorp's websites. The critical blog posts, the skeptical editorials, the investigative pieces questioning my company's rapid expansion, deleted. In their place appeared glowing profiles of Phoenix Industries' innovation, detailed analyses of our technological breakthroughs, and opinion pieces praising anonymous leadership as the future of corporate governance. Ethan and Sophie's remaining supporters found their voices suddenly silenced across all major tech media platforms. Op-eds defending their reputation were rejected. Interview requests went unanswered. Press releases disappeared into digital black holes. The media landscape has shifted overnight, Sophie told Ethan during their emergency meeting at a downtown coffee shop. The only place they could afford to meet now? TechCorp was our last ally. They've published 3 articles about our innovations this year. Not anymore. Ethan showed her his laptop screen. Look at today's editorial. The rise of anonymous innovation, why Phoenix Industries represents corporate evolution. The future belongs to companies that prioritize results over personality, innovation over ego. Phoenix Industries has demonstrated that true leadership doesn't require celebrity CEOs or social media presence. It requires vision, execution, and unwavering commitment to advancement. Traditional tech companies built on borrowed concepts and recycled ideas cannot compete with organizations that operate at Phoenix Industries level. The market has spoken. Authenticity triumphs over artificial success. This shift represents not just economic evolution, but moral progress. Phoenix Industries stands as proof that ethical business practices, combined with genuine innovation, will always defeat operations built on stolen foundations. Sophie stared at the screen. They're not just competing with us anymore, they're rewriting history to erase us completely. The editorial concluded, some names deserve to be forgotten, others remembered forever. The mortgage acquisition happened while Ethan's parents slept in their suburban home where he'd grown up, where family photos still showed him as a gap-toothed kid with dreams of changing the world. Phoenix Holdings LLC has acquired your mortgage from First National Bank, the representative explained to his mother over the phone at 8 a.m. Effective immediately, your loan terms are subject to renegotiation. Renegotiation. We've never missed a payment in 15 years. Ma'am, your current balance is $437,000. Phoenix Holdings is prepared to call the loan immediately unless you can provide $500,000 by Friday. 500,000. That's more than we owe. Processing fees and accelerated payment penalties, ma'am. Quite standard in acquisition situations. Ethan's mother called him crying, her voice breaking with each word. They want $500,000 by Friday or we lose everything. Ethan, we've lived in this house for 25 years. Mom, I'll figure this out. I'll get the money somehow. Where? Your company failed, your accounts are frozen, and no bank will talk to us. Ethan emptied his remaining savings account, $43,000 saved from better days, leaving himself with barely enough for food. He borrowed against his car, his furniture, even his laptop. By Thursday night, he'd scraped together $200,000, not nearly enough. The Phoenix representative called him directly on Friday morning. Mr. Morrison, this is David Chen from Phoenix Holdings. We understand you're interested in discussing your parents' mortgage situation. I need more time. I can get the money, but not by today. Time is a luxury, Mr. Morrison. However, my CEO has authorized me to discuss alternative payment arrangements. Alternative arrangements? Your parents keep their home, your debt is forgiven. All we require is a brief meeting with you. A meeting? Nothing complicated. One conversation with Phoenix Industries leadership about your future in the tech industry. Ethan gripped the phone until his knuckles went white. What kind of conversation? The kind that determines whether you still have a future to discuss. A business card arrived by courier 30 minutes later. Black cardstock with silver phoenix wings, and a single line of text. Your son's CEO would like to meet alone. Sophie contacted Marcus Chen that afternoon, swallowing her pride along with her desperate fear. Marcus, I know we've had our differences, but I need your help. Marcus's voice came through the phone speaker, cold and distant. Sophie, after Ethan's display at the club, I'm surprised you'd call me. Phoenix Industries isn't just targeting us, they're targeting everyone. You could be next. Is that a threat? It's a warning. Marcus, they offered to buy you out months ago. What if they're preparing to destroy you like they destroyed us? A long pause. What are you talking about? You said Phoenix Industries offered to buy your companies. What if that was reconnaissance, learning your weaknesses before they attack? Sophie, that's... Marcus stopped mid-sentence. Actually, their offer was strangely comprehensive. They knew details about my operations that aren't public. See, they've been planning this campaign for months, maybe years. Their timing was unusually perfect, Marcus admitted. They approached me right before my quarterly earnings report when my stock price was most vulnerable. Marcus, we need to work together. Pool our resources, our legal teams, our connections. Phoenix Industries is too powerful for any of us to fight alone. Together? Sophie, you and Ethan just accused me of corporate espionage in front of half the industry. Because we're desperate. They're destroying our lives and we don't even know who they are. Marcus's voice softened slightly. What exactly do you want from me? Protection, information, anything that might help us understand what we're facing. Another pause. I'll make some calls, but Sophie, if this is some elaborate scheme to deflect blame from your own failures, it's not, Marcus. I swear on my mother's grave, it's not. Marcus whispered, what if Phoenix Industries has inside information about all of us? Anonymous messages began appearing on Ethan's phone at 3:33 a.m., each one arriving with no sender identification, no trace of origin. The first message contained photos from their secret wedding planning sessions. Images of Sophie trying on dresses in the private boutique. Ethan tasting cakes with the exclusive caterer. Intimate moments when they'd thought they were completely alone. The second message showed excerpts from Sophie's private journal from 3 years ago, annotated with corrections in red ink. Ethan thinks the app idea is revolutionary, but I've seen similar concepts before. Red annotation. You'd seen my concepts, Sophie. Grace seems so naive about business. She trusts everyone completely. Red annotation. Trust you killed along with everything else. The third message included audio recordings of their private conversations from that time, discussions about modifying my code, plans to eliminate my name from patent applications, strategies for convincing investors they'd developed everything independently. How is this possible? Sophie whispered as Ethan played the recordings on his laptop. These conversations happened in my apartment with no one else present. Someone's been watching us for years, Ethan said, his hands shaking as he scrolled through message after message. Every private moment, every secret conversation, every decision we thought was hidden. The messages included details no outsider could possibly know. The pet names they used for each other, Sophie's childhood phobia of thunderstorms, Ethan's recurring nightmare about falling from heights. They know everything about us, Sophie said. Our habits, our fears, our weaknesses. But how? We've never told anyone these things. The final message arrived as they sat in stunned silence. I know what you did that rainy night, and soon everyone will. Marcus Chen's public distancing happened during TechCorp Media's live-streamed interview, with 500,000 viewers watching his calculated betrayal unfold in real time. Marcus, given your previous support for Morrison Chen Enterprises, what's your current stance on their recent difficulties? Jennifer Martinez asked, her camera capturing every micro-expression. Marcus adjusted his Hermes tie, a gesture I recognize from our previous business dealings. Jennifer, I must be completely transparent with your audience. I cannot and will not associate with individuals currently under investigation for intellectual property theft. That's quite a strong statement. The evidence speaks for itself. When a company's foundational technology appears to infringe on existing patents, and when their leadership demonstrates such erratic behavior, as witnessed at Hillcrest Country Club, responsible investors must distance themselves. Are you concerned about Phoenix Industries' rapid expansion in markets where Morrison Chen once competed? Phoenix Industries represents everything Morrison Chen claimed to be: innovative, ethical, forward-thinking. The contrast is striking. Within an hour of the interview's conclusion, Phoenix Industries announced a $500 million charity fund in Marcus's name, focusing on ethical innovation and intellectual property protection. Marcus's phone rang immediately after the announcement. Phoenix Industries, this is Victoria Sterling. Mr. Chen, our CEO, wanted to personally thank you for your commitment to industry integrity. This is unexpected. I didn't request any charitable association. Our CEO believes in rewarding those who stand for justice. The Marcus Chen Foundation for Ethical Innovation will launch next month. I'm honored, but Mr. Chen, our CEO, also wanted me to convey a message. Phoenix Industries protects its friends and destroys its enemies. Choose wisely. The line went dead, leaving Marcus staring at his phone as news alerts flooded his screen about the foundation bearing his name. I attended the Global Tech Expo's opening night gala wearing a custom creation that cost more than Ethan's parents' mortgage. Midnight black silk embedded with fiber optics that pulsed like a living constellation. My mask this time was pure artistry. Titanium phoenix feathers that responded to my heartbeat, shifting color from deep blue to molten gold. Ladies and gentlemen, the announcer's voice boomed across the ballroom, please welcome the CEO of Phoenix Industries. Every conversation stopped. Champagne glasses paused halfway to lips. The orchestra fell silent as I descended the grand staircase, my dress trailing light like fallen stars. Victoria whispered in my earpiece. Security reports Morrison and Chen aren't on the guest list. They're watching the live stream from their apartment. Perfect. I accepted the Crystal Phoenix sculpture, the Innovator of the Year award, from the presenter's trembling hands. The audience of tech moguls, venture capitalists, and world leaders rose in sustained applause. Thank you for this recognition, I began, my voice carrying across the ballroom, and to millions watching online. This award represents more than individual achievement. It celebrates the power of resurrection. The applause intensified. Innovation requires courage. The courage to build something new from the ashes of what came before. The courage to rise above those who would steal your vision and claim it as their own. I looked directly into the main camera, knowing Ethan and Sophie were watching from their failing apartment. This victory belongs to everyone who has been betrayed, stolen from, left for dead by those they trusted, to those who refused to stay buried. The ballroom erupted in standing ovation as I raised the crystal phoenix toward the lights. During my speech, I looked directly into the camera. This victory is dedicated to those who rise from ashes. Sophie's desperation reached its breaking point 48 hours later. She hired 3 different hacking groups through encrypted networks, paying with cryptocurrency she'd borrowed against her jewelry. "I need everything you can find on Phoenix Industries," she told the lead hacker, a 20-something kid who called himself Cyber Phoenix. The irony wasn't lost on me. Corporate records, employee databases, security footage, anything that reveals who's really running the company. Lady, Phoenix Industries has military-grade security. Their servers are protected by quantum encryption. I'll pay triple your normal rate. Triple won't matter if we're dead. Phoenix Industries doesn't just have firewalls. They have countermeasures that can trace attacks back to their source and alert federal authorities automatically. I don't care about the risks. You should. Last crew that tried to hack them got arrested for corporate espionage. FBI kicked down their doors at 3 a.m. But Sophie's desperation overrode her caution. $100,000 if you can find out who Phoenix Industries' CEO really is. Cyber Phoenix and his team launched their attack at 2:17 a.m. on a Tuesday, triggering security systems I'd spent months perfecting. The moment their intrusion software touched Phoenix Industries' outer defenses, my quantum encrypted servers began recording everything. Their IP addresses, their real identities, their physical locations, even their mother's maiden names. "Victoria, initiate federal response protocol," I instructed from my penthouse command center. "Already in motion. FBI Cybercrime Division will receive their file in 30 seconds. The hackers managed to penetrate exactly far enough to access the false information I'd planted. Documents suggesting Phoenix Industries' CEO was a former NSA operative named Alex Morgan, who died in a car accident 2 years ago. "This is impossible," Cyber Phoenix muttered as federal agents surrounded his apartment building. "Dead people don't run corporations." Sophie received the arrest notification at 6 a.m. Corporate espionage charges filed against Sophie Chen and associates for attempted breach of Phoenix Industries' protected systems. She spent 72 hours in federal custody, her mugshot appearing on every tech blog and news website. Tech Daily, Morrison Chen co-founder arrested for corporate espionage. Innovation Weekly, fallen from grace, Sophie Chen's desperate gambit backfires. Digital disruption, from tech darling to federal criminal, the Sophie Chen story. The arrest destroyed her remaining professional reputation completely. No tech company would hire someone with federal cybercrime charges pending. Sophie's mugshot appeared on every tech blog with the headline, "Fallen from Grace." I sent Ethan the vintage music box on a Thursday afternoon, delivered by courier to his parents' house where he was hiding from process servers and creditors. The music box was identical to the one he'd given me for our 6-month anniversary, porcelain ballerinas dancing to Pachelbel's Canon in D, the same song we'd planned for our wedding processional. Inside the lid, where our photo had once been, I'd placed a handwritten note on Phoenix Industries' letterhead. "For all the dances we never finished, Phoenix." Ethan's mother found him in his childhood bedroom, staring at the music box with tears streaming down his face. "Ethan, honey, what's wrong?" "This music box. I gave one exactly like this to Grace 3 years ago." "Grace, your ex-fiancé who died in that accident?" "Mom, Phoenix Industries knows things about my relationship with Grace that I never told anyone. Private moments, personal gifts, intimate details." His hands shook as he wound the music box, watching the tiny ballerinas spin to the haunting melody. "But Grace is dead, sweetheart. You went to her funeral." "Did I? Or did I just watch them lower an empty coffin while I was too guilty to look inside?" The security footage I'd arranged showed Ethan dropping the music box, his face white with terror and recognition. He called Sophie from jail, his voice shaking with barely controlled panic. "Sophie, Phoenix Industries isn't just targeting us. They know us, personally, intimately." "What are you talking about?" "They sent me Grace's music box. The exact same one I gave her years ago with a note about unfinished dances." Sophie's voice dropped to a whisper. "Ethan, Grace is dead. We both know that." Do we? Did you actually see her body after she fell from Marcus's penthouse? The police said. The police said they found evidence of a fall, but did anyone actually identify remains? Sophie's silence stretched across the jail phone connection. Sophie, what if Grace survived? What if she's been planning this revenge for 3 years? That's impossible. Is it? Who else would know about the music box? Who else would understand the psychological impact of every single attack Phoenix Industries has launched against us? Sophie screamed through the phone. Then find out who they are before they destroy us completely. The business resolution meeting invitations arrived by certified courier on a Friday morning, delivered to both Ethan's parents' house and Sophie's jail cell. Phoenix Industries corporate headquarters, penthouse conference room, Saturday, 8 p.m. Mr. Morrison and Ms. Chen. Recent events have created an untenable situation requiring immediate resolution. Phoenix Industries is prepared to offer final terms for concluding our business relationship. This meeting represents your only opportunity to negotiate a peaceful conclusion to current hostilities. Failure to attend will result in escalation beyond your current capacity to manage. Come alone. Bring no recording devices, legal representation, or weapons. This is a business discussion, not a legal proceeding. Weather reports predict heavy rain for Saturday evening. Appropriate attire recommended. Prepare for closure, one way or another. Phoenix Industries Executive Office. Sophie was released on bail Friday afternoon, her lawyer warning her against attending any meeting with Phoenix Industries. Sophie, this could be a trap. Corporate espionage charges make you vulnerable to additional accusations. I have to go, she told him, studying the invitation's heavyweight paper and embossed Phoenix logo. This is the first time Phoenix Industries has offered direct communication. It might be our only chance to negotiate. Ethan received his copy while hiding in his childhood bedroom, surrounded by participation trophies and faded posters of his high school heroes. Mom, I have to attend this meeting. Ethan, you've been running from everything for weeks. Maybe it's time to face whatever this is. What if it's Grace? Then you'll finally know the truth. I watched weather radar from my penthouse office as storm systems gathered exactly as I'd predicted. My helicopter pilot confirmed the flight plan, checking atmospheric conditions for optimal dramatic timing. Perfect storm development, Ms. Grace. Visibility will be limited, but safe for landing. Excellent. Make sure the Phoenix logo is illuminated. I want them to see it through the rain. Victoria entered with final confirmation. Both targets confirmed attendance. Morrison and Chen will arrive separately, but within the same time frame. And our backup security? Federal agents positioned throughout the building, monitoring for any attempt at recording or violence. This meeting is completely protected. I looked out at the city below, lights beginning to twinkle as darkness fell. Rain had started, light drops that would intensify throughout the evening. 3 years ago, they pushed me from a balcony on a night exactly like this. And tonight? Tonight, they discover that some falls lead to flight. The invitation's final line read, "Come alone and prepare for closure, one way or another." Ethan and Sophie met outside the Phoenix Industries building as rain began falling in heavy sheets, each drop catching the neon lights like scattered diamonds on black asphalt. You look terrible, Sophie said, taking in Ethan's hollow cheeks and trembling hands. Federal prison food doesn't agree with me. She pulled her coat tighter against the wind. Ethan, what if this really is Grace? Then we're about to face someone we thought we'd destroyed 3 years ago. The building's security guard, a man I'd hired specifically for his intimidating presence, led them through marble lobbies and mirrored elevators without speaking. Their reflections multiplied infinitely in the polished surfaces, pale ghosts ascending toward judgment. At the penthouse level, automated doors slid open to reveal the conference room I'd designed as a perfect replica of Marcus Chen's penthouse. The same room where their betrayal had begun, where my first life had ended. This room, Sophie whispered. It's identical to Marcus's place, Ethan finished, down to the furniture arrangement. They entered cautiously, rain hammering against the floor-to-ceiling windows that wrapped around 3 walls. The city sprawled below them, 40 stories down, the same distance I'd fallen in my previous life. The lights dimmed automatically as my silhouette appeared in the doorway, backlit by a corridor illumination that cast my shadow across the polished conference table. You came. Good. I stepped forward slowly, wearing the same black dress I'd dyed in 3 years ago, now tailored to perfection and accessorized with phoenix wing jewelry that caught the lightning outside. Sophie backed toward the balcony door, her face cycling through confusion and terror. Who are you? Someone whose life you destroyed in this very room 3 years ago. That's impossible, Ethan stammered. We've never been in this room before tonight. Haven't you? I gestured to the furniture arrangement, each piece positioned exactly as it had been in Marcus's penthouse. The same couch where you seduced my maid of honor. The same desk where you forged my signature on patent transfers. The same balcony where you pushed me to my death. Sophie grabbed Ethan's arm. Grace is dead. We went to her funeral. Did you? Or did you attend a memorial service for someone whose body was never recovered? I activated the room's holographic display system, projecting images around us like ghosts materializing from digital ether. Their faces appeared on every surface, screenshots from their social media, photos from their engagement party, financial records showing their profits from my stolen technology. Phoenix Industries' total worth, $50 billion, I announced as the numbers scrolled past in glowing digits. Built entirely on innovations you believed you'd stolen permanently. Ethan fell to his knees, his voice breaking with terror and recognition. Grace! But how? You died. I watched you fall. You watched someone fall, but did you bother to check if she survived? Sophie pressed herself against the rain-soaked windows. This is impossible. Dead people don't build corporate empires. Dead people don't, I agreed, circling them slowly like a predator studying wounded prey. But someone who died and came back? Someone who spent 3 years in hell planning revenge? Someone who remembered every betrayal, every theft, every moment of humiliation you inflicted? Lightning illuminated the room in stark white flashes, casting our shadows across the walls like figures in a nightmare. You destroyed someone's life in this room 3 years ago. Do you remember? Thunder shook the building as I opened the balcony door, wind and rain whipping through the conference room with supernatural force. I remember everything, Ethan. Sophie seducing you in my apartment while I planned our wedding. You both laughing about my naive trust while copying my source code. The look on your faces when you realized you could steal everything and leave me with nothing. Grace, we're sorry. Sorry, I laughed, the sound carrying over the storm's roar. You were sorry when you made $47 million from my stolen ideas? Sorry when you watched me lose my apartment, my reputation, my future? Sorry when you pushed me off that balcony because I threatened to expose your theft? Sophie stumbled toward the conference table, leaving wet handprints on its polished surface. We never meant for you to die. But you meant for me to disappear, to be erased, to become nothing while you became everything. Rain crashed against the windows like the sound of applause as I displayed financial projections showing their complete destruction. Phoenix Industries now owns every company you'll need to survive the next decade. Every server farm, every patent office, every investor network, every media platform. Your names have been systematically erased from industry databases. Your reputation's destroyed beyond repair. What do you want from us? Ethan crawled toward me across the wet marble floor. I want what you took from her. Everything. I reached up and removed my mask with deliberate slowness, letting the phoenix feathers fall to the floor as my face became fully visible in the lightning's harsh illumination. Sophie screamed, her voice raw with terror and disbelief. Grace, but you're dead. We watched you fall. You watched someone whose trust you murdered fall 40 stories onto concrete, I said, my voice carrying the authority of resurrection and revenge. You watched someone whose dreams you stole disappear into darkness. You watched someone whose love you betrayed become nothing but a memory. Ethan crawled toward me, tears streaming down his face. This is impossible. You died 3 years ago on this balcony. This balcony? I gestured toward the rain-soaked ledge. No, Ethan. I died on Marcus Chen's balcony. This is Phoenix Industries' balcony. This is where the dead return to collect what's owed. Rain crashed against the windows as thunder shook the building foundations, and in that moment of cosmic fury, they finally understood the scope of their destruction. I smiled coldly. Death was just my first lesson in patience, Ethan. You pushed me off Marcus's balcony after stealing my life's work and my fiancé, I continued, my voice growing stronger with each word. You stood over my broken body and felt nothing but relief that your crimes would never be discovered. Sophie collapsed onto the marble floor, hyperventilating as reality shattered around her. Ghosts aren't real. This has to be someone else. Grace had brown hair. Yours is black. Hair color changes, Sophie, but betrayal, that leaves permanent scars. I activated another holographic display showing security footage from that night 3 years ago. Their passionate kiss while I was choosing flowers for our wedding. Their whispered plans to eliminate my name from all patent applications. Their celebration after my fall. You both watched this footage, didn't you? Insurance investigators showed it to you during their inquiry into my death. Ethan vomited onto the polished floor, his body convulsing with terror and guilt. If you're really Grace, then what are you? How is this possible? What am I? I stepped onto the rain-soaked balcony, wind whipping my hair like black flames. I'm someone who learned that falling doesn't always mean dying. Sometimes it means flying. The storm intensified around us, lightning striking the city below as if the heavens themselves were celebrating my return. I spent 3 years in darkness planning this moment. 3 years studying your weaknesses, your fears, your dependencies. 3 years building the empire you thought you'd stolen from me. Grace, please. Sophie reached toward me with trembling hands. Please. I laughed over the thunder's roar. Did you say please when you seduced my fiancé? Did you beg for mercy when you stole my innovations? Did you show compassion when you pushed me off that balcony? My helicopter appeared through the storm clouds above us, its Phoenix logo illuminated against the night sky like a golden constellation. I opened the balcony door, wind whipping through. I'm your reckoning. Phoenix Industries owns everything now, I announced, displaying holographic contracts that transferred their remaining assets, their family homes, their parents' mortgages, their future earning potential, everything into my control. I could destroy you completely. Your parents homeless, your siblings unemployed, your names erased from every database on Earth. The helicopter hovered above us, its rotors whipping rain across the balcony like divine tears. But I'm offering you a choice because, unlike you, I believe in justice rather than mere cruelty. I produced 2 legal documents, their pages whipping in the wind but protected by waterproof coating. Option 1, you sign these papers transferring all remaining assets to Phoenix Industries. Publicly confess your theft of intellectual property and disappear forever. You keep your lives, but you lose everything else. Sophie grabbed the documents with shaking hands, reading the terms through her tears. Option 2, I release the complete evidence of your crimes. The surveillance footage, the stolen source code, the financial records, the recorded confessions you made thinking Grace was dead. You spend the next 20 years in federal prison for corporate espionage, fraud, and conspiracy. There's a third option, Ethan said quietly. Is there? You could push us off this balcony, complete your revenge the way we completed ours. I considered this for a long moment, rain soaking through my dress as lightning illuminated our faces in stark black and white. That would make me exactly like you, I said finally. And I've worked too hard building something better than what you destroyed. The helicopter landed on the roof above us, its Phoenix logo visible through the storm. Choose now. Sign the papers and walk away with nothing, or face federal prosecution for crimes that will put you in prison until you're old and forgotten. Or you can walk away with nothing and never speak my name again. Sophie grabbed Ethan's arm with desperate strength, her nails drawing blood through his soaked shirt. Take the deal. She can make us disappear forever. Disappear? I smiled, the expression carrying 3 years of accumulated justice. Oh, Sophie, you're not disappearing. You're going to live with this. You're going to wake up every morning knowing that someone you betrayed rose from death to destroy everything you built on stolen foundations. Ethan fell to his knees in the rain, hands clasped in desperate supplication. Please, Grace, we're sorry. We made terrible mistakes. Mistakes? I looked down at him through the rainfall. Theft isn't a mistake, Ethan. Betrayal isn't a mistake. Murder isn't a mistake. Sophie joined him on the wet marble, tears mixing with rainwater as she begged. We'll do anything. Just let us live. We'll disappear. We'll never compete with you again. We'll spend our lives making amends. Amends to whom? The woman you killed? The dreams you stole? The future you destroyed? But I'd prepared for this moment. Their public humiliation broadcast live to the world. I activated the building's emergency broadcast system, streaming our confrontation to every social media platform, every news network, every tech blog that had once celebrated their success. Ladies and gentlemen, I announced to the cameras hidden throughout the room, you're witnessing the end of an empire built on stolen foundations. Millions watched as the former tech darlings groveled before their mysterious destroyer, rain washing away their dignity as thoroughly as I'd washed away their reputations. Let this be a lesson to everyone watching. Some people rise from ashes, and some people burn in fires they started themselves. Sophie and Ethan knelt in the rain, their voices breaking as they confessed their crimes to a global audience. We stole her technology, Sophie sobbed into the camera. We betrayed someone who trusted us completely. We destroyed an innocent woman's life for profit, Ethan added, his words barely audible over the thunder. Grace deserved better from people who claimed to love her. The comments sections exploded with outrage as viewers realized the scope of their betrayal. Justice for Grace! Lock them up. Phoenix Industries is a hero. Grace survived and won. I spoke into the camera. Let this be a lesson. Some people rise from ashes. I held a global press conference from Phoenix Industries' headquarters rooftop the next morning, standing where my helicopter had landed the night before. The storm had passed, leaving the city washed clean under brilliant sunshine that seemed to celebrate justice restored. Ladies and gentlemen of the international media, I began, my voice carrying across the assembled crowd of reporters from 6 continents. Last night, you witnessed the conclusion of a 3-year investigation into corporate theft and personal betrayal. Cameras flashed like lightning as I stood without a mask for the first time. My face finally revealed to the world that had watched my revenge unfold. I am Grace Chen, founder and CEO of Phoenix Industries. 3 years ago, I was betrayed by people I trusted. My life's work stolen, my future destroyed. They believed they had eliminated me permanently. The crowd murmured with anticipation. They were wrong. I gestured toward the gleaming tower behind me, phoenix wings carved into its facade, catching the morning light. Today marks the end of an old era where theft could masquerade as innovation, where betrayal could hide behind friendship, where murder could be disguised as accident. My voice grew stronger, carrying the authority of someone who had died and chosen to return. Phoenix Industries represents something unprecedented in corporate history. A company built not just on innovation, but on justice. We have demonstrated that authentic creation will always triumph over stolen concepts. World leaders had been calling since dawn. The president of South Korea wanted to discuss technology partnerships. The European Union offered regulatory frameworks for Phoenix Industries' expansion. China proposed joint ventures in quantum computing. Today, Phoenix Industries announces our expansion into quantum computing, space technology, and medical research. We will build the future that was stolen from us 3 years ago. I looked directly into the cameras, knowing Sophie and Ethan were watching from wherever they were hiding. To those who believe they can profit from others' dreams, this is your warning. Phoenix Industries remembers everything, forgives nothing, and rises from every attempt to destroy us. The press conference concluded with thunderous applause as my helicopter lifted off, carrying me toward meetings with world leaders who wanted to partner with the woman who had conquered death itself. I concluded, death taught me patience. Now let me show you what life can build. Victoria found me in my private office that evening, overlooking the city I now controlled through technology, media, and sheer force of will. Grace, I need to ask you something that's been troubling me since this began. I looked up from contracts with 12 different governments, each eager to license Phoenix Industries' innovations. What's on your mind? Was the revenge worth everything you sacrificed to achieve it? I considered her question while studying the city lights below, each one representing lives I could now influence through my technological empire. They didn't just steal my company, Victoria. They stole my identity as an innovator, my faith in human decency, my ability to trust anyone completely. And now? Now I've built something they could never imagine. Phoenix Industries will outlast their children's children. Our innovations will reshape human civilization, while their names fade into footnotes about corporate crime. Victoria nodded, though concern remained in her expression. What's our next move? I activated the holographic display showing Phoenix Industries' global expansion plans, research facilities on 3 continents, partnerships with space agencies, medical breakthroughs that would extend human life by decades. We revolutionize everything they thought they understood about power. My helicopter crew prepared for departure as rain finally stopped falling outside my orbital office complex. Victoria, ready Phoenix Industries' next acquisition target. We're going global in ways that will make tonight's victory look like a warm-up exercise. Victoria smiled. Which country's economy should we revolutionize first? 6 months after my public resurrection, Phoenix Industries controlled 30% of the global technology market from headquarters that orbited Earth itself, a space station I'd designed and launched using technologies I'd developed during my 3 years of planning. Status report, I commanded from my orbital office, Earth spinning slowly beyond reinforced windows. Phoenix Industries has partnerships with 47 nations. Victoria reported through quantum communication. Our medical division just cured 3 previously terminal diseases. Our space division is preparing to colonize Mars. Our quantum computing division has solved climate change. And Morrison Chen. Ethan works night security at a warehouse in Detroit. Sophie cleans offices in Portland, both using assumed names, both banned from any technology-related employment forever. I watched the sun rise over Earth's curve, thinking about the woman who had fallen from a balcony 3 years ago and the empire she had built from that death. Their families? Protected under the agreements they signed, their parents kept their homes, their siblings kept their jobs. You kept your word about limiting collateral damage. Good. Justice doesn't require cruelty to innocents. World governments competed for Phoenix Industries' attention now. The United Nations had offered me a permanent seat on the Security Council. NASA wanted exclusive partnerships for Mars colonization. The World Health Organization begged for access to our medical technologies. Today's priority meetings? The European Union at 0900, the African Development Bank at 1100, the Chinese Space Agency at 1400, and the International Monetary Fund at 1600. All in orbit? They're sending delegations to your space station. World leaders consider meeting with you personally to be the ultimate diplomatic achievement. I established the Grace Memorial Foundation that week, dedicated to entrepreneurs whose work had been stolen, students whose innovations had been plagiarized, inventors whose patents had been infringed. Phoenix Industries funded it with $10 billion annually. Every person who's been betrayed deserves a second chance, I announced at the foundation's launch. Some rise from ashes alone. Others need help rebuilding their wings. Phoenix Industries' logo appeared on buildings across every major city worldwide. Elegant phoenix wings that caught sunlight like promises of resurrection for anyone whose dreams had been murdered by those they trusted. The space elevator I'd constructed transported world leaders to my orbital headquarters daily, each one seeking partnerships that would define their nation's futures. From my office window, I could see Earth as a blue marble, I told the documentary crew filming Phoenix Industries' story. It gives you perspective on how small the betrayals that killed Grace Chen really were, and how vast the empire that rose from her ashes has become. As my helicopter lifted off, I whispered, "From ashes, an empire. And this is only the beginning." The message arrived on my quantum communicator during a routine meeting with the International Space Station's commanders. Its encryption's so sophisticated that my best security systems took 17 minutes to decode it. Sender, Marcus Chen, priority maximum, subject, temporal mechanics, and shared impossibilities. Grace, I know what you did. More importantly, I know how you did it. 3 years ago, I died in a helicopter crash in Switzerland. I remember the impact, the fire, the darkness. I also remember waking up 5 years earlier in my college dorm room, with complete knowledge of market trends, technological developments, and personal betrayals that hadn't happened yet. Sound familiar? You're not the only one who conquered death and returned with impossible knowledge. The difference is that I've been building my empire for 8 years, not 3. I have a proposition about time itself, and about the others like us who remembered dying and chose to return. We need to talk. Marcus, P.S. Check your birth certificate. I think you'll find some interesting details about your true parentage. I stared at the message as rain began falling outside my orbital office complex. Impossible droplets in the vacuum of space that shouldn't exist, but somehow materialized against my windows like tears from heaven itself. My hands shook as I accessed Phoenix Industries' genealogy databases, running DNA analysis against global records I'd never thought to check. The results appeared on my screen with devastating clarity. Biological father, Marcus Chen. Relationship, confirmed paternal match, probability 99.97%. This changes everything, I whispered to the stars beyond my windows. If Marcus was my father, and if he had also died and returned with future knowledge, then my revenge against Morrison Chen had been orchestrated by someone who knew about my resurrection from the beginning. Someone who had been planning this for far longer than 3 years. Someone who wanted Phoenix Industries to succeed because my success served his larger purpose. The quantum communicator chimed again. Grace, welcome to the family business. Time travel is hereditary. There are 12 of us now, scattered across the globe, each building empires with impossible knowledge. But something is coming that will require all our combined power to survive. The real game is just beginning. Your father? I stared at the message, rain beginning to fall outside my orbital office. Interesting. It seems I'm not the only one with impossible knowledge.